Okay, so what we got here is old, archived, never been shown before footage. It's recorded about 9 months ago. It's a decontamination wash video of my old Volvo V60. I'll explain a bit more at the end of the video, but for now, enjoy and try not to fall asleep. Alright, hello, good morning and welcome to What He Tells. It's a Friday, it's first thing. Ouch. And welcome to the new What Details support vehicle. So what have we got? We have a Volvo, the V60 D5 with the Polestar software, Polestar map, which is a factory installed performance upgrade for the ECU tuning. It's a 2.4 5-cylinder D5 engine. It's fairly economical for the size of the engine. It sounds fairly nice considering it's a diesel. It goes fairly well considering it's a diesel and it's an estate. And it's blue, very blue, rebel blue in fact. To be honest, it's nice to have a bit of colour back in my life in that respect. If you think back to my previous wagon, 3 Series Touring, Titan Silver in colour. Still got the car for the time being until this one's up to scratch, just so I'm not left without any wheels. There was the Jag, Polaris White, the BMW Z4M Coupe, Sapphire Black. There's a lot of grey, black, silver, white cars on the road. It's nice to have a splash of colour in my life for once. So the idea of today, this is the first wash, this is the initial sort of look over. It's not had the easiest life in terms of mechanically, it's fine, it's perfect, it's all fully stamped. Volvo main dealer, Volvo owner. Main dealer service history. So mechanically it's fine, it's been a bit of a workhorse, a wagon, which it is. It hasn't yet been, I mean, my 3 Series was never detailed, it never had a full job, but it was clean. It was on the edges, let's say. It wasn't growing in the door sills. It wasn't growing green algae under the roof rails or the window rubbers. So it's pretty much just a decontamination today, just to strip it back, whether there'll ever be any polishing. Maybe bits here and there, we'll come on to that. There's a few localized areas that could benefit from enhancement. But to find 4 days on my own car, and you're otherwise busy on everyone else's, it's a bit of a busman's holiday. There's no point in spending too long, if any, time on the wheels, because as you can probably see, the diameter aspect of them is corroded, so they need refurbishment. So they will be being sent away and refurbished in good time. So today, there's little point in doing too much to them. If we talk about the chemicals, everything you'll see me use, chemical wise, brush wise, you will find in the video description below, either on Amazon or my friends at Ultimate Finish Car Care Suppliers, and there's discount codes there available. So the reason for the change, you may be able to see the BM in the background, I don't know there. I've had the BM now for 4.5, getting on 5 years. And at the time, my residential situation meant to get here 6 days, 7 days a week to the unit, I was clocking up some miles. So the vehicle was an '09 and it done 110,000 miles. Well, that's what it's on now. So it's just getting on the mileage. Yes, it'll keep going, but it's time for a change and a time for a splash of colour. The BM's a 320D manual, and this is the Geartronic. So it's a Volvo V60 2.4 D5 Lux Nav Geartronic. The Lux Nav is sort of the spec, the R design of course as well. R design is the equivalent to BMW's M Sport. So it has the slightly chunkier side skirts, it has the slightly beefier bumpers. And then the Lux and Nav is sort of like trim spec for the interior and options and cruise control and the adaptive xenons that sort of follow the corners. That's nice. The BM I think had 180 horsepower and this is 230. And I must admit, BMW, I'll be back one day. BMWs are engaging. The input they deliver through the steering rack and the power steering and just the feel, the connection you have to the car, perhaps sounds a bit daft to a non-car person. It's noticeable. But of course the BMW rear wheel drive, you're being pushed along. The Volvo is front wheel drive, so you're being pulled along, and that's noticeable. I'm going to miss the rear wheel drive action. So although once the Volvo gets going, it's quicker, it's a much torquier, powerful engine. I miss the rear drive, I miss some of the steering input, the feel of driving. It's very comfortable, the most comfortable car I've had. Perhaps that's because they're meant for 72-year-olds, not 32-year-olds. Sorry, Volvo community, not true. It's a nice car. And to be honest, it's nice to have a change. One of the reasons I went to the Jag was because I looked at the V8 M3, the 4.2 E90 M3. Everything's familiar, the dash, the buttons, the steering wheel. It's all, I know it, I've had it, I've done it, been there. And as you can see today, we're going to be a bit against it with the sun. It's early, I'm not too fussed. I've got the race glaze water filter. But yeah, I think I'm repeating myself by saying this. BMW, I'll be back. As the video goes on, I will try and improve the camera angles by the introduction of the GoPro. Currently, it's on charge inside. Wasn't prepared for this video this morning. This week's white detail on a Ferrari FF has gone swimmingly, rather well. So it's left today. There's still a few more bits to do to the car, but it gives me 3 hours this morning just to play on the Volvo before customer collects on Saturday, tomorrow. Gosh, it's a pain. Never start being a YouTuber. Backwards and forwards, stop and start. Well, anyway, I've never once said I'm a YouTuber, I'm a detailer. So where that come from, I don't know. Oh, you're the YouTuber from YouTube. Nope. I'm the guy who washes his cars on camera and talks to himself whilst washing Volvos. That's me. Oh, the landline phone's ringing. Sorry, sir, madam, I won't be able to take that. Not today. Leave a message, I'll get back to you. Right, wash. And we're recording. We're on. So half the car's problems is the fact it's green where it shouldn't be green. In the windows, the roof rail, the petrol filler cap. A lot of which is removed with this one first initial wash. Are we ready? Yeah. Hopefully you can hear me over the pressure washer. In previous tests and videos you can, but this initial first rinse is the most important. Morning. Yeah, I'm doing a wash video. Stood out here talking to myself, it's odd.
What was I going to say?
Perhaps the world's longest pressure rinse. Pressure rinse? Pressure rinse. Pressure rinse. This is going to be a waste of time because everything I can see here is tar and contamination, not dirt, but it still blankets it with Surfex HD before we go onto a foam to work the nooks and the crannies with the detail brush. Built Hambers Auto Foam. Yeah. Opportunity now, slightly shorter, stiffer bristle brush to give the rubbers a bit of a deeper cleanse. At least all the loose stuff has disappeared by now. This isn't a job that needs doing every time. Yeah, okay, you can go around with a soft one and just give it a quick once over, but if the car was maintained and looked after correctly, these don't get bad all the time, every time. Adam's car shampoo going in for the 2-bucket wash. Again, all the water on here is the filtered water, but still not ideal. Yet to look into the sail shade cover from a month ago. Well done, Jim. GoPro on. Feels a bit rough. I think the clay bar is going to make the biggest difference to this car. Full mechanical decontamination. Stone chip there. Man, that's some tar. You wait till you see the tar shots when I'm taking the tar away. There's a ton. do this half of the roof, then I rinse it. Working at the car wash, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Right, that's the main body wash done. Now I'm going to switch to a separate small tatty wash medium, which is used under the door sills, under the side skirts. Blech! Side skirts. Just had the executive decision to say that whilst we're not doing the front end, then we're going to work on the back and the sides and so on, it's best to just give it a quick towel off. Not the most ideal towel drying practice. If it was corrected and defect swirl free, I'd certainly think twice. This is the best wash this car's ever had. An exfoliating wash, if you will. That's better. That makes me happier. Just the glass on the roof for now. Stay there. GoPro on. I think I can see numbers. GoPro on. Although this says Geon Iron, this is Autosmart TARDIS. TARDIS comes delivered in a 5-litre drum in a tin. Endless times I get people commenting on the video saying, you're not using tar remover, you're using iron fallout. Or no. Wow, there's some tar here. Is the GoPro picking that up? So, allowing it 30 seconds to dwell. That's it, take a picture, dumbass. Video, recording. Sync. Tons of tar. This isn't the worst of it either. I won't try and do too much once. I'd stick to the front, rinse, back, rinse, side, rinse, side, rinse. This is going to take some applications. See it bleeding? What is left is a lot of fallout, which we'll come on to that. Just because you can't see it on the black, it doesn't mean it's not there. It's absolutely there. It's worth giving that a wipe over. Had I have been thinking straight as well, it wouldn't have hurt to take the registration plate off of this exfoliating wash. But there we go. Thorough rinse and dry. Just going to do 2 panels at a time here. door on the wing, rinsing in between because of the heat and how dirty the tar is. 20 seconds to sit. Look at the wheel arch edge as well. I'm going to tackle that, but not with this cloth. That wants to be a separate sort of wheel tar cloth. Don't want to risk contaminating this nice, well, I say nice, as nice as it can be, bodywork tar removing cloth, as we don't want to scratch the paint. If we scratch the inner arch lining, so be it. Hopefully not cover the lens in tar remover. Contending with shadows here, unfortunately. Wow, okay, so the dots that are left, if you can pick this up on the camera, that's metallic fallout. I'm guessing he's maybe had a brake binding or ran the pads too low and it's kicked off a lot of metallic fallout down this side. Mind you, oh dear, the other side's as bad. All right, last of the tar. This is switching cloths now. This is a cloth I use sort of just for under arch purposes. Helps if you spray the product on first, Jim. We're going to tackle the arch lining edges. You should see that bleed quite nicely. Because of the earlier panel temperature, and it's actually quite pleasant now, it's not bad. I'm only going to de-iron, I'm only going to put this iron chemical from the door handles down in an attempt to clean the wheel metallic fallout. The roof, the bonnet, the horizontal panels up top, I'm going to rely on the clay bar. To be honest, this fallout is only the lower half of the vehicle, lower third of the vehicle, to be honest. Chemical in question is Built Hamber Corosol, and hopefully on this camera you can see already the bleeding. It's had 3, maybe 4 minutes now. I'm just going to help it along with a wet, preloaded clean towel, which will offer some form of agitation. For 1 second, I'm not expecting this to be perfect. After this, it's going to help, I know that much. But the rest of it is going to be removed with a clay bar. I'm sure another thing you'll tell me off for is doing this with no gloves on. I'm questioning why I'm doing it myself. I had gloves on, but they rip. And then when they rip, to put new gloves on, you've got wet hands. It takes 5 minutes for the hands to dry out. I'm sure I'll regret it later. Right, we have one clean Volvo V60. I'm gonna go in here now. But first of all, I'm just going to dry the discs off, dry the brakes, get rid of that rust. Go on, Grandad. All right, before we go in though, just going to rinse down the lower areas that have just been rinsing down the lower areas in case anything has flown up on the sides during that drying the discs phase. Right, in the single bay today, reason being, as much as I'd like to go on the ramp, we have a customer's car, an FF Nero Daytona, and said vehicle is yet to have the near side front wheel returned from refurbishment. I could go here, but I don't want to risk lint, dust, so it's just nice to have this separate single bay. Okay, indoors now, dried off and ready for the third and final, which is the clay bar. Water used as lubrication, the clay bar of choice. Clay bar of choice is AM Details. AM Details clay, the only lubrication required is water. This is one bar chopped up into 3 pieces. In a boiling bucket of water to keep it soft and workable. All right, straight away. Wow, straight away. I'm expecting a fair bit of fallout off here. You can hear it. Don't necessarily need pressure, just need to keep a firm grip of the bar. I'm using it sort of like underneath fingertips and not actually grabbing it as such. And unfortunately today I'm not going to be polishing, so I'm not following this with a polish. All I can do today for timings is a quick detail spray, wipe down, slash some form of gloss enhancing chemical. So that's the back side where my hand's been. That's from 1/3 of the, or 1/8 of the roof. What I tend to do is keep folding the bar over the same area, so there's no green light to say that this area is now contaminant free. You just got to keep reworking it until you can no longer feel it or hear it. You can, initially when you put the bar on a dirty area here, you can hear it, you can feel it. That now feels a lot smoother, but as a visual, the clean side of the clay bar, after I've just done this again, yeah, there's a hint of dirt there as well now anyway. It can be a timely process. Change the clay bar, put one away, take one out. Can you hear that? Hang on. All right, I'm gonna shut up now and just get this clayed. Not this for a while. You can tell the surface is dirty when the water shows the sign of the dirt in the solution. You see how that water's dirty? That's just from sort of the top quarter there, the bonnet. And there's the clay bar. You may be wondering and questioning, and I've questioned myself, why I've not reached for a clay mitt or a clay cloth for the efficiency, the speed of the process. To be honest, I've always preferred the clay bar. The accuracy I've got on the clay bar over a clay mitt, you've got more feel to it. And at the same time, I've never found a clay cloth or mitt that doesn't mar. Now remember, I'm not polishing this vehicle afterwards, so what I don't want is for the exterior to be left with a ton of clay marring on the surface, which would be pretty much guaranteed. Those clay mitts and cloths I have, I can pretty much guarantee that that would be the case. All right, so 9 months later, there's quite an echo in here. I've never really noticed that, although this side is empty, there's no cars. 9 months later, the Volvo has been replaced. If you follow the Instagram and social media, you'll know that already. I told you I'd get back in the BMW. My heart wasn't in the Volvo. And at this point, the video pretty much abruptly ended. There wasn't much videoing done for the rest of the afternoon. There was meant to be. I think I maybe just gave in. There were some bad bits on the paint where sun cream had been left on the surface via a handprint. So someone's put sun cream on the children maybe, handprints all over the car. That oily cream is pretty treacherous on the paint. It doesn't want to be there, it stains, it will etch, not etch as such, certainly stain the paint. The dozen or so areas that had been affected were polished. The gloss black B pillars I believe were done as well, and just generally fettled from that point on, but it never really had any form of major polishing or full correction. I think in the end I only had the car for maximum 2 months. I was desperate after driving the Volvo for a little while, desperate to get back into a BMW. There's episodes on this car which I'll link below if you haven't seen them already, quite detailed episodes on the 3 Series. And the reason this footage is only coming to light now, it's coronavirus, lockdown. Although I can now technically, with social distancing laws and policies in place, I can start to work again. There are 1 or 2 movements in the diary to get some jobs back into the unit, to get back into the swing of things. But I found myself doing some videography work for a local company, nothing to do with cars, actually a company that does planning applications for land registries and building sites. But I missed the creative side of the videoing, and I realized I had some unseen footage of the Volvo during the Volvo wash that never made it to public release. So it was enough to inspire me to want to start and sit through footage that was recorded 9 months ago. So that's pretty much it. That's where I'm at. I hope you've enjoyed. I remember there was a glitch or some sort of issue with the audio, the mic and the camera, the video footage. Maybe that was the reason why it went to pot and never continued. There isn't even any, not that I found, there isn't even any after footage of the vehicle that I recorded that afternoon, so apologies about that. So I hope you guys are keeping well, you're staying safe during these uncertain times. Thank you to those and the messages that came through of support over the recent months. Yes, I disappeared to New Zealand for some travel, but that was interrupted quite early on with the coronavirus and the lockdown, unfortunately. I will be back out there, but for the meanwhile, got to get some cars back on the ramp and got to get a haircut. This is the lockdown haircut. Peace! And also, I know in the past I have been told off in the comments in the videos about how disgusting the floor out here has looked over the course of several months, couple of years. The growth, the algae, the green starts to come back through. And reviewing the footage of the Volvo, I was like, yeah, it was pretty bad. So once I was back from my travels and there's nothing left to do, the first job was actually to tackle 2.5 days worth of pressure washing out here, followed by application of sand, and then a day's worth of sealing it with block paver. As you can see, it's a lot better.